In this section of our tutorial, we're going to take a look at Ableton Live's built-in audio effects. Now, to be clear, we're not going to be able to step through each of these in detail because there's so many and they're so powerful. And I'm going to try to go through and give you a general idea about each one. And the first one is one of the new devices that we'll find inside Ableton Live, and it's an external audio device. And what it allows you to do is to take sound coming in from an input on your interface and then process it through Ableton Live and return it back if you want to. So you see we can take it in from multiple devices. So this is a way of getting audio from, let's say, a synth you have outside Ableton Live directly in and process it. Next to that, we're going to now take a look at some of the EQ and filtration devices. The new EQ8 also has an improved audio quality about it. We have 8 separate EQs and filters we can employ any way we want to. Each one of these 8 can be turned on and off individually. Let's take a look at what we have on number 2. We have a shelf EQ on the low end. In 3, we have a parametric that's kind of broad and taking away volume. A tight, very narrow parametric EQ subtracting volume somewhere to help eliminate a problem often. We have the ability to use notch filtrations just from this. We also have high shelves. 7 is a high shelf being reduced. I'm going to turn off 6 so we can 7 better. So we can see over here in our info box the types we can have. Okay, additionally I want to point out that we have several modes, and this allows you to also to process mid-side signals. So if you have a microphone that does mid-side, or if you've got a configuration of a track that uses mid-side, we can actually decode it here using EQ8. We also have a global gain volume which can help you offset the overall influence of an EQ and keep the volume basically even. This helps you make a better choice about the EQ settings. Next we have another device that's new, and it's a spectrum analyzer which can help you find out where your problems are. So you'll see a graph across here of which frequencies are stronger or weaker. We have several modes, analyze just the left or right or combination. We can also set the size of the block being analyzed. This is a great tool for finding problems. Next to that we have the resonators, and these are fixed filters that don't move. And they create the emulation of an actual physical device. Each device, like a saxophone, trumpet, flute, a box, a tube, tends to resonate or enhance certain frequencies whenever they come through. And this resonator gives us several to work with. Next to this is an auto filter, and this is a filter that sounds a little bit like a wah sometimes. It's automatic in the sense that it's going to follow the volume of the signal coming through and create some filter movement in response to volume changes. Next to this we have some distortion type effects, and we have quite a variety. We have a tube based distortion with several modes. We have a saturation type distortion with several modes, an extensive set of modes for making this quite a variety of different sounds. Next to that we have vinyl distortion, which is trying to create the sound of a record. So we're peaking in a certain area, and we also can add in some certain kind of noise. Next to that we have erosion or deterioration type distortion effect, and we can create that based on, implying a sine wave or a wide band of noise or a narrow band of noise. When we click the narrow band of noise, we have some effect over it, and if we take wide noise again, we can still move it around. We can change its width, etc. Next to that we have a digital distortion, which is going to either reduce the number of bits or the number of samples and then as we reduce that, it'll create a very harsh digital sound. Grain delay is an effect based on the granular synthesis, and we have several parameters here for this. It's used to create an echo type or breaking up of a sound type effect. Next to that we get to the modulation delays, and we have a complete suite. We have chorus, we have a flanger, and we also have a phaser. Notice we have the basic amount of dry wet on each of these, and these mixtures are often based on combining the chorused sound against the original or the flanged sound against the original. So you can create the strength of these effects, especially with chorus and phaser. Sometimes we'll get a little bit more pronounced when we use a balance, but not all wet or dry. After these devices we have the simple auto pan, which will automatically sweep a sound around left and right or we have a special mode for creating the spin like from the old speakers off of organs. Then we have a suite of delays here. A basic simple delay, and again these can be freewheeling or synced to the song based on a timing resolution. A dry wet balance. A ping pong delay, which is primarily meant to move around left and right. A filter delay that is very powerful, allowing us to change the color of each delay. So we can change the filtration. Here we see a broadband open sound. Here we see some filtering, only letting the lows and the mids through. Here we see a fairly tight filter up in the high mids. You can change this by dragging your ball to the left or right, and that moves just the basic filtering point. And if you bring it up and down, we make it broad or narrow. Then we have feedback, panning, and volume settings for each of these three repeats. Beat Repeat is a great tool for working with audio beats, and you want to look at that manual for that. It's very extensive. And finally, a reverb and some audio compression and gates. So you can see that Ableton Live's audio effects are quite extensive, and they're also targeted mostly toward beat-based music, as is Ableton Live's design itself. Okay, this concludes our quick look at the audio effects.